Topic 1.6 Developments in Europe from 1200 to 1450. Feudal society. After the Roman Empire's fall, smaller kingdoms dominated Western Europe from the 9th to the 15th centuries, establishing feudalism, a hierarchical land ownership system rooted in reciprocal obligations. The monarch, usually a king, owned all lands and allocated fiefs to nobles, expecting loyalty and military service in return. These nobles could then grant parts of their land to vassals, further binding them with obligations of service and goods. Peasants and serfs, tied to the land but owning none, formed the lowest tier, sustaining themselves in the society through agriculture, employing techniques like the three-field system to conserve soil fertility and to rotate crops. The system gradually disintegrated due to economic growth, technological advancements, and societal shifts, paving the way for more centralized governments by the 16th century. Regionalism to kingdoms, 1200 to 1450. France. From 1200 to 1450, France transitioned from a regional to a centralized power structure. Initially, the Catholic Church had a significant role in governance, a dynamic that began to change as the monarchy started to foster greater bureaucratic controls. King Philip II played a pivotal role in this transformation by working closely with the legislative assembly known as the Estates General. This period also marked the preliminary stages of the decline in the Catholic Church's influence, a precursor to the Reformation in the 1500s. The Holy Roman Empire. The Holy Roman Empire, established in the 10th century and lasting until the 19th century, united Central and Western European territories under a single ruler. The Concordat of Worms, an agreement that allowed the Pope to appoint bishops, with the king retaining veto power, reflected the delicate balance of power between the religious and royal authorities. England. In England, the nobility often checked royal authority. A significant event was King John's signing of the Magna Carta in 1215, which limited the king's power and granted rights and freedoms to the English people. This period also saw the English Parliament grow into a powerful legislative body. The Hundred Years' War, 1337 to 1453, with France marked a shift towards nationalism and the decline of feudalism. Religious conflict. From the 8th to the 15th century, Europe and the Middle East underwent tremendous changes, largely driven by the push and pull between Christian and Islamic forces. The saga began with Charles Martel, also known as the Hammer, who stopped the Islamic advance at the Battle of Tours in 732, a victory that would cement his legacy and lay groundwork for the rule of the Carolingian dynasty. Centuries passed before the Reconquista reached its climax in 1492, spearheaded by leaders such as Ferdinand and Isabella, and they finally drove Muslim rulers from Spain and Portugal. This period saw more than the reconquering of territories. It mandated the conversion or expulsion of Muslims and Jews, altering the societal fabric drastically. This drive towards religious uniformity mirrored global trends of consolidation and power centralization, shaping early forms of national identity while, unfortunately, suppressing diversity. Simultaneously, the Crusades spanned from 1096 to 1271, orchestrated by the Catholic Church to regain control of the Holy Land. The Fourth Crusade, in particular, saw the sack of Constantinople in 1204, illustrating the divide between the Catholic and Orthodox Christians. This campaign revealed that power and greed often masqueraded as religious fervor. Despite the turmoil, these conflicts spurred invaluable cross-cultural exchanges. Europe opened its eyes to Islamic advancements in science and mathematics, setting the stage for a period of increased knowledge and understanding, which eventually paved the way for the Renaissance. The Renaissance, a nexus of revival and innovation. Around 1450, Europe began to witness a profound transformation, characterized by increased literacy and urbanization, along with strengthened global connections. Previously confined to clerics, literacy started to spread, paving the way for a renaissance in intellectual and cultural spheres. Gutenberg's printing press. A critical shift occurred with the invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg around 1440. This machine, utilizing movable metal type, supplanted the laborious manual reproduction of text with a faster, more affordable method, enabling a broader dissemination of knowledge and catalyzing social progress. This brought Europe to be more equal with the Middle East and Asia, who had used printing presses for centuries. Reestablishing connections with the world. Trade ties severed during earlier centuries began to mend, thanks largely to the Crusades and the Mediterranean trade routes. These connections fostered the Renaissance, a vibrant period of rediscovery initiated in 14th century Italy and later permeating the wider European continent. The era revered classical wisdom, invoking a spirit of exploration in art, literature, and philosophy. The rise of humanism. Renaissance individuals dared to challenge traditional norms through the lens of humanism, a philosophical movement emphasizing the value and agency of human beings. It fostered a critical spirit and encouraged exploration of new intellectual territories, setting a transformative course for the European thought landscape. Iconic figures of the era. This period elevated several individuals to iconic status, with contributions that left an indelible mark on art and science. Leonardo da Vinci, with his multifaceted genius, and Michelangelo, with his grandiose artistic vision, defined the artistic brilliance of the time. In the literary domain, William Shakespeare crafted narratives rich in complexity and depth, shaping the course of dramaturgy. Scientific discoveries. The Renaissance also championed scientific inquiry, as evidenced by the critical work of thinkers like Galileo Galilei, who pursued knowledge about the cosmos, laying a solid foundation for modern science and shifting the established cosmological perspective. A new dawn in art and literature. Art and literature flourished, portraying not just aesthetic brilliance, but also capturing narratives through diverse mediums, each resonating with the spirit of rediscovery. Exploratory ventures and global networks. As Europe reintegrated with the wider world, a corresponding surge in exploration and mercantilism unfolded, encouraging interactions with new lands and cultures, and establishing a network of global connections marked by trade and the exchange of discoveries.